Welcome back to your go-to solo lawn care business podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Sutter. Thank you for tuning in to another episode. Today, I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about marketing. So last episode, I know I've been skipping around here a little bit lately. I'm going to explain that. But today, I want to talk to you about how to rank number one on Google without having a Google business listing. All right, so before that, I want to tell you where I have been at, what I've been doing. So the last couple of weeks have been kind of sporadic for me as far as the podcast goes. And that is because, one, I was sick. I had a really bad cold. We had a cold come through our house and it was rough. It was rough, guys. It was just not a fun time at all. We were all sick and it was just, I didn't have a voice. I couldn't speak. I mean, I could speak, but it was really crummy. So I took a week off there. Then I did another episode, but it was kind of a short episode because I was still feeling crummy. And we had Easter coming up. And if you know anything about me, if you've been listening to this podcast for a while, I am the head song leader, I guess they call it, head worship leader at my church. And of course, with that position comes all the major holidays that I have to do and lead. And so I was very busy that week, but I felt bad as well. So I wanted to do everything I could to rest my voice, to just really take it easy, not strain myself too hard, because that's a big week, right? In the Christian faith, that's a very big week for the Christian community is Easter. And so I really needed to just take a break there. And then last week, I was feeling much better. My wife was still feeling sickly, but we actually went on spring break with the family. We actually went down to Kentucky to see the Ark, the big Ark thing, and I guess they call it the Ark Encounter, but anyway, we call it the Ark. We went down, saw the Ark for the first time. It was pretty cool, but it wasn't really what we expected. We did have a good time, but it wasn't exactly what we expected. And then we also went to the Creation Museum, which we thought was much better. That's about 45 minutes away from the Ark. That's more in the Cleveland area, and we enjoyed that a lot more. And funny little story here. So I am connected to some people that actually went down and helped work on the Ark and are still currently working in or with the Creation Museum. So this family lived here in my little community here, went to the church that I go to now, that I grew up in, and it turns out they moved down to Kentucky and they actually helped build some of the Ark. And one of their sons, Benjamin, he doesn't listen to this podcast. He does not care about lawn care at all, probably, other than he probably has to mow his own lawn. But he was actually the model, I guess, for all the paintings in the Ark that depicted Adam. So when you look at those paintings, that is the direct image of the guy that I know. And then also in the Creation Museum, if you've been there or are going to go there someday, he was actually the model for all of the statues or figurines of Adam that are in the Creation Museum. So, and his brother actually has a plaque there. He's working on these little figures. I forget what it was for, but he's got a plaque there. His name he was the youngest. And so when they lived here, he was really young. His name was Stephen, or is Stephen, not was. He's still alive. And he worked on some little figurines. So they're artists. These guys are artists. They, I know Benjamin did like the artwork for a book that's sold at the Creation Museum and done a bunch of other artwork stuff there at the museum. Also, some of the boys that they have worked on some of the animal displays in the Ark. So that was just a cool connection for me that, driving 5.5 hours south, I could feel the hands of these people that I know on all this stuff. So it was really cool for me in that way. But the ARC was a little different than what we expected. We thought it'd be more hands-on. It was actually a lot of reading. There just a lot of plaques with just a lot of text on them, maybe a painting, but then a bunch of text. And it was okay. They had some displays there and things like that, but it wasn't really our bag. The music they had pumping was really loud. It was like Middle Eastern music, and it was on a loop, and it was really loud. And the ARC was super dark in there. And because they wanted to make it feel like you were actually on the ARC with Noah and his family, and it just wasn't our thing. We all walked out of the ARC with headaches, pounding headaches, because it was dark. You were squinting to try and read, and the lighting was really dim, and the music was really loud, and there was a ton of people. And so we walked out of there. We went out. We spent a lot of time outside. They actually have our kids' favorite part, and really my favorite part too, but don't tell them that, was they have this like sluicing thing where you buy a bag of pay dirt, I guess is what they would call it, and you get a little sluice box, little screen with in a box, wood box or whatever, and they have this little river thing, and you can actually pan for rocks and for like fake gold and stuff like that. The boys absolutely loved it, and I actually secretly loved it too. It was a lot of fun. So that was their favorite part at the ARC. And then the Creation Museum, they actually had that same thing at the Creation Museum. However, it was closed down for repairs. So we weren't able to do that. We were hoping to do that again, but unfortunately it just didn't happen. So anyway, that's why we went to Kentucky. Then for the rest of our spring break, we called an audible. We were going to be there all week, which in hindsight was way too much, right? Wednesday, my wife and I decided, you know what? We called an audible, and we actually cut our stay short at our Airbnb there. It was a really nice Airbnb, but we cut our stay short there, and we actually went north another 4.5 hours back to our favorite place in all the world, which is Holmes County, Ohio, just because of the pace. The change of pace is much different. Everything in Holmes County closes at 5 o'clock. So after that, except for a few restaurants, there's a few restaurants that actually stay open about, I would say like from noon to 7 or whatever, if they're a dinner restaurant. So they basically close at 7. And so it's just a different change of pace up there, and we really enjoy it. We love it. So we added an extra day to our vacation, and we had a great time. We had a great time in Holmes County. My wife has gotten into quilting, so she got a lot of fabric and stuff up there, and it was just a good, relaxing time. So anyway, all that being said, those are the reasons that I haven't been consistent. I will be consistent moving forward with a weekly podcast. Just the last month or so, it's been really hectic. And honestly, things are going fairly well with the business. I've had a lot of estimates come in for the gravel driveway business, more so than the lawn care business. But the lawn care is getting some estimates as well. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that maybe. We'll probably bring that up in another episode. But anyway, all that to say, very busy, very wet here, lots of rain. Last night we had huge thunderstorms come through. We had like 3 or 4 confirmed tornadoes in the area. We actually had rotation about 5 miles west of us, directly west of us. So that was a little concerning to us. We spent, a good hour and a half in the basement last night, but it is what it is. Things are drying out today. Hopefully we're going to get a little bit more rain. We had another thunderstorm this morning. It's just going to be a wet week. And then next week kicks off the mowing season, and we really go full steam next week into mowing. Dry or not dry, we're going to go full steam and do as much as we can for lawn care next week. So, and hopefully we can start the driveways next week as well. Haven't been able to do a single driveway yet this year because it's been so wet. It's just been an incredibly wet spring here in Michigan. We've got roads washing out. We've got flood warnings. We've got all sorts of stuff going on here in Michigan. Complete opposite of what last spring was. I was repairing driveways at the beginning of March last year. So it's totally different. Probably won't be getting my first repair in until till the end of April this year. So that's just how things go when you work in the weather. We all know that. But anyway, today, like I said in the intro, I want to talk to you about getting to number one on Google without having a Google business listing. You guys might know, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, when my family and I moved 2 years ago to our new location here, I had to change my address on my Google business listing. Well, when you do that, now that they have switched to AI processes, it automatically flags it in Google's system, and you have to prove that you own that business. And so I own 2 businesses that are at the same address, and number one, Google doesn't like that. And number 2, Google doesn't like you changing anything in your business listing. It has to be perfect from day one. If you want to keep it, if you don't want to have any issues, it has to be perfect from day one. How many humans are perfect? Absolutely none. And so you're going to usually have problems. I know Tony Rudolph over at Tony's Lawn Talk, he just experienced this problem as well. He finally signed up for a Google business listing, and then lo and behold, they cut it off. And you got to figure out why. They don't tell you why. You have to figure it out according to their guidelines. Now, what I have found out since losing my Google business listing over 2 years ago is that you really need to pay somebody to get that listing back. If you really want it back, you're going to have to pay somebody. And even then, you might not get it back, right? Don't even waste your time like going through all the steps. Don't even do that. Hire somebody. There's Facebook groups for Google business accounts and things like that. In my opinion, most of those people that are out there making money fixing Google My Business accounts are current or former Google employees who know exactly the button to push to make it through. And magically, when their fingers touch it, everything comes back. Not everything. Sometimes you lose your reviews and things like that, but you get your business listing back. So this episode is all about, and all 4 of those businesses who you've lost your Google business listing and now you feel stuck. Well, you're not stuck, because I've proven to myself that you can reach the number one listing on Google below, now let me caveat this, below the sponsored ads and below the Google business listing, right? So you have your sponsored ads at the very top. Those are the people that pay to play, right? They're the big companies that pay Google to have their stuff right at the very tippy top. Then Google business listing is below that, the picture with all the listings of the businesses. You might have a map over there, things like that. You've got that. And then below that, you have all the other listings. I'm talking about the top of all those other listings, right? That's what is considered number one on Google when you're not paying for anything, okay? And really, this is not super hard to do, but it does take consistency. It takes a lot of consistent work on social media, all right? If you're not on social media in today's business climate, you're not going to be number one on Google, period, unless you're paying to get there. You need to be on Facebook at least, and probably YouTube as well. Both of those are the big ones that are going to help you get to where you want to go on Google, right? It's extra work. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie and tell you that it's not extra work to be number one on Google. It is. It very much is. But let's just hear me out here, okay? So what I do and how I achieved the #1 listing below the Google business listing, right? I got to caveat that because a lot of you are going to say, well, you're going to look up my business name, which is Sutter Brothers Lawn Care, and I encourage you to do it. Go Google. You can go Google lawn care in Lake Odessa, Michigan. Go Google that, and you will see that I come up #1 under that Google business box. Okay. Test me. Okay, test me. All right. The business name is Sutter Brothers Lawn Care. So what I do, how I achieve this is, yes, this podcast. When I post this podcast, I've moved to or gone back to video podcast episodes, right? So I am filming this podcast episode, and I also have my podcast on a podcast hosting site, which is Libsyn. All right. In the description of both of those things, I have my business website, your business URL. Google is a crawler, right? It crawls the internet to find information. When it sees your URL, your business URL out there, it remembers that and it gives you all the touch points. It knows how many people have seen it. It knows all of that stuff. There's a lot of information out there that with how many people have seen your URL or something your URL is attached to. All right, so that's the first thing. I would start making YouTube videos for your business. But if you're shy and you don't want to do that, then the next best thing is Facebook, right? And I encourage you to do both. In fact, I would even encourage you to do Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. But that's a lot. I don't personally do hardly anything on Instagram, but I do a lot on Facebook. And here's what I do. So I have a business page for my lawn care business, Sutter Brothers Lawn Care. That's on Facebook. I also have a personal Facebook page, right? And what I do is once a day, I make a post, and it can be the same post. And I have a video, like an advertisement video that I made last year when I was doing the first cuts of the season. I made a video and I edited it really nice and made an ad out of that. And that is the draw to my Facebook post, right? Video is king. It just is. So if you're shy about being on a video, I'm sorry, you should show your face in an ad because Google likes to see that. #1. #2, people like to see that, right? You want to optimize your video for people, okay? You want to make sure that people can be attracted to that. They want to know who they're contacting, okay? So that's the second thing. So my Facebook ad, it's got a video, and then I have like a little blurb of my experience, what I do, how to contact me. And in that contact me section, I have again my website URL, my phone number, and they can contact me on Facebook. I don't put my email anymore. This is why. You do not want people to leave Facebook. You don't want them to leave Facebook. Why? Because Facebook penalizes you if that person leaves Facebook. They diminish your ad. They don't want Facebook, the algorithm does not want people leaving Facebook. They want people on there as long as possible. So when I figured this out, I started, instead of putting my email or forcing people to email, call, or visit my website, I put Facebook message, right? PM me, right? PM message me, whatever. And a lot of people do that. And that is very helpful to pushing that post out farther. Okay, you want as many people. It does not matter if they're in your area, because you state in your video what areas you work in. You also have it in text in that little blurb, the areas you work in. It doesn't matter if somebody in Timbuktu sees your ad. That doesn't matter, except for the fact that that person is seeing that post and your URL is attached to that post. That matters. The more eyes you get on that post with your URL, the more Google sees that. All right? It is super important that you put your URL, your website URL. So that's another aspect. If you're lazy and you don't want to do the work, you don't want to spend the money or whatever, if you don't have a website, well, you're kind of out of luck with this method. You need a website to make this work and to be listed as #1 on Google, right? You need that. So I made my own website through Wix, okay? Wix is not known for its good SEO and optimization. It's not, but you can force it to be, right? If you want to just pay somebody to do it for you, you just give them the content and they do all the other work, go with Green Frog Web Design. They are proven. They have a good track record. I'm not sponsored by them. I don't get anything from Green Frog Web Design. I just know their product and I know that it's good. Okay? So you want to do that. Now, so EARTHAPRO is sponsoring this episode, and they are a brand new CRM software in the space, and they just do an awesome job with their website, right? Their software. In fact, I just set up yesterday all my routes for my service area for all my clients. This is the first year I'm going to be using EARTHAPRO for my lawn care business. I signed up with EARTHAPRO back in October, but I didn't have a chance really to use it to its fullest extent until now. I used it for snow and for billing for snow, but I haven't had a chance yet to use it for lawn care. So I set up all my routes, and it works really, really well. Like, you can set it to automatically bill your clients. It's fantastic. Coming from the other software that I was using, where I had to go in and manually do everything, I don't have to do any of that anymore. So it might take me, if I'm doing all the books and stuff, it might take me an hour now or 30 minutes to get everything done that I need to get done in a month. And that's way better than 2 or 3 hours. It gives me a lot more family time. It gives me a lot more freedom. And so that's what you need to think about when you're choosing a CRM. I feel EARTHAPRO really offers a good package for that. So if you sign up with EARTHAPRO for their pro package, 20% off. I think it's Mowing in the Dark 20. The code will be in the description below. You can sign up with EARTHAPRO. You'll get a discount. I can't remember what it is. It's been a couple weeks since I made a podcast episode. So anyway, go check out earthapro.com. I think you'll be very impressed. I don't remember what I was talking about, but that's okay. So when you go into getting your business up on #1 on Google, you got to post on Facebook. You got to have that website, and it's got to be integrated with everything. So I post once a day on Facebook, and that's on my personal page, and that's on my business page. That is enough. You get enough views that bumps you up on the Google rating. Now, another thing you need to do is in your Facebook post, you need to tag your area of service. So if you're in like 4 or 5 different areas of service, you need to tag all of those. And then you need to hashtag all of those as well. And that also helps people to see you, right? Whatever area you're in. So my service area is like Lake Odessa, Michigan. So I tagged that area, that city, in my Facebook post. And I also hashtag it. That helps people find it, right? It's been night and day difference this year compared to last year, because I didn't do this last year, right? Same thing for the gravel business. I do the same thing. Then once a week, you can post in Facebook community groups. What's a community group? I get so many people asking me, what's a community group? It's a group in your community, right? So you look up you go to the groups section in Facebook, you type in your city that you service, and there's going to be 2 or 3 groups in that service area. Most of those groups do not allow businesses to join. However, they will let a person join. That's where your personal page comes in. And that's where you have to be willing to use your personal page to advertise your business. And in those community groups, once a week you can post. Usually, sometimes they have a set day, sometimes they don't, but all of them limit you to 1 post per week. And that's fine, because what you're going to do is you're going to do the same thing that you did on your personal page every day of the week, only you're going to do it in the community groups where eyes are peeled on that group. That sends out notifications to thousands potentially of people. And that is priceless. And that's where you gain a lot of that traction for your website, for your Google listing, is right there in Facebook. And that's how I achieve that #1 spot below the Google My Business listings on Google. And it has been a game changer for me in my business this year. I get a lot more calls than I did last year. Because let's be honest, if you have a website, people aren't just typing in your website. They don't know what your website is, and they really don't care. What they care about is going to Google. Everyone goes to Google. What's the first thing you say when you have a question about something? Or if you want to know if there's a restaurant in your area, what do? Are you going to Bing? Absolutely not. You're going to Google. You're going to Google it. It's like a catchphrase. Just Google it. It's like the American catchphrase is just Google it. Instead of just do it, it's just Google it. And so everyone's going to Google to find what they need. So you need to be listed in Google, right? And you want to be #1 if you can. Now, of course, I am a big advocate. If you can get on that Google business listing, do it. This also helps your Google business listing. The more eyes are on your business, the more your listing is going to be bumped up in that ranking. But nevertheless, if you can't get it, you want to be in that top spot under that box for the Google business listing. So anyway, guys, that's really what I wanted to talk to you about. I wanted to describe this to you because I think it's so important for guys out there that they have no idea how to do this. They're not tech savvy. They're not social media savvy. They don't know any of this stuff. You can learn it, right? I've been learning this stuff for 10 years. You can learn it and you can do it. You just have to be persistent. You have to be strategic, and you have to be consistent, because it is so important. Every single day, you have got to post at least on 2 places, your business page and your personal page, for your business with your business website URL in it. And that will bump you up. And surprisingly, the more posts you keep doing from Facebook, those Facebook posts will show up in Google as well. So, and you want your business name to pop up as many places on Google as possible. So when you have a website, you need to name each of your pages. You need to do all that stuff. You got to research some of this stuff on how to create a website if you're not having someone do it for you. And you've just got to really dig into advertising and how to rank #1 on Google, because it's the lifeblood of business today. And it's not right. I don't like it. I don't like that Google has a monopoly on business advertisement. I don't like that, but they do. And there's nothing I can do to change it, so I have to play into it. That's the only thing we can do. And so when we play into Google's pocket, right? When we play into what they want you to do as far as we can, then we can start to win. And I've seen a lot of Facebook posts in lawn care groups about how do I get more clients? How do I get clients? How are you guys getting clients? Well, this is how I'm getting clients. And I want to tell you this because it's no secret, right? There's no secret sauce here. It's just being consistent and doing the things you know that you can do to get your business out there. And that is what really advertising your business is all about, is consistency. And it's professionalism, and it's getting your name out there. All right, guys, so that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening and watching. If you're watching online, please click that subscribe button. That helps. Also, click that like button if this was helpful information for you. And share this with your lawn care business friends. All right, guys, that's it for this episode. Thanks so much for listening. Make sure you check out EARTHAPRO.com. Also, check out Helcim.com. They are a credit card processor, and it's a really good credit card processor. All right, guys, I will see you in the next episode.